Speaking about troubles, Vince McMahon is another one. No shocker to no one, unfortunate.
Yeah, we've got all kinds of news. We got good news and very bad news.
Right. Let's start with the bad because it literally is right off the presses. This was released today.
Yeah.
So Vince McMahon has been I believe it's one of the same women that came forward for the first allegations about basically him giving a bunch of gifts and all this other stuff. This one. This past one, I was going to make sure we get the timeline correct. So you can stop me as I go through the timeline if we need to update it or I'm getting something wrong. Because with legal stuff, I want to be as factual as I possibly can without jumping to getting something wrong. So basically, he got sued because she was for hush money to keep her under wraps. She signed NDAs, but she was like, "Screw that!" and then she got fired, right? So she got fired. So she was like, "Screw that!" Right?
From what I'm reading, it's not. It was not just screw it. It's she says that they had an agreement. She signed an NDA and was paid $3 million to go away. But she says that Vince violated the terms of the agreement, and that's why she's suing.
Okay, so that was kind of the first thing, and then Vince ended up. This was after he forced himself back into the WWE, right? Because he was already he's already forced out. Then he forced himself back in.
She was.
Go ahead.
Yeah, this was in 2022 that apparently that. He paid her off, and then she agreed to sign an NDA, and got paid a couple $1 million to just go away. But it's like, so yeah, that was around the definitely around this fetches up for when he left because of it fits with because he left the first time because of allegations that he used company money to shut women up that he had done naughty things with. Yeah, I've seen like some of the if you go like the whole filing is out there and for public view. It's like 60 some pages. I didn't read the whole thing. I just saw some brief pieces of it, including pictures of text messages that she says that Vince sent her, and I'm not going to repeat the details here because it's really really nasty shit.
Yeah, it's very. I couldn't get through the first. I couldn't get through half of the first text message. I was like, Jesus. So you all go look at it and just take your opinion for what it will. It's not good on that.
Yeah, this makes Vince look like people already felt that in a lot of ways he was pretty scummy, but like this confirms like he's like on a whole nother level of human scum. Yeah. If this is all true. Yeah.
So a couple of things, and then also they were in here. GIF, yeah, I agree. That's what I kind of felt like today. It just felt. I felt hurt. I don't know why. I just felt hurt because this thing that we love so much, and this is just another of why do you like pro wrestling? I'm like, I'm not defending him, but it's so pivotal in my love of wrestling.
And this isn't like an issue with the wrestling world. It's just that it's something that Vince did, and because of what he has done and represents in the world of pro wrestling for since the 1980s. It sucks. This is why people were happy when he left the first time, and when he forced his way back, in which everyone was like, this is pretty scummy stuff. Yeah. And but Endeavor and TKO have already probably made preparations for this because they knew that eventually something was probably else going to come up, because they put out they had a filing with the FCC listing Vince McMahon as a financial liability. So they've made preparations for something like this in case something like this came up. So yeah, if it's looking like he's guilty, they're going to be like, bye-bye.
Right.
And that's what we all want. We want him to go away. Get him away from WWE for good. Because right now WWE has been the best it's been in a long time and has absolutely nothing to do with Vince McMahon.
No.
We rejoice for that.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of there was what they called it in Louisville basketball. You can look it up. It was called Strippergate. It stuck. It still gets talked about today. But it was an assistant coach, organized parties with there was a book written about it from the escort, but basically with some escorts with the basketball team. And Louisville went on to win the national championship, win a Final Four and a national championship, basically back to back. But NCAA took out all of their banners. But the thing is, what happened sucks. It's terrible and it's ugly and it's gross, and I understand that. But taking a banner, but the play on the court had nothing to do with that. It's kind of the same thing that, to me, is like Vince McMahon is a terrible, horrible, no good, very bad person, according to these allegations and everything else that we've kind of figured before. But it sucks because the product is so good and people that are running the show right now that we know of, right? We still have them. This just came out today that we know of is still putting on an extremely well-produced product. And I feel like this is putting a black cloud over something that's accomplished that has nothing to do with the accomplishments of what we're seeing today.
I know. Yeah, it sucks because it's like wrestling today wouldn't be where it is without what Vince did with the WWF, now WWE, in the 80s when he took over the company from his father, Vince Sr. We wouldn't have had Hulkamania, the Attitude Era, all that stuff without him. It's like that can't be denied. It's like he had a major hand in that. He can't give him all the credit, but it's like he's got a fair share of the credit for all that kind of success. Betting on the right people at the right time. But this is really disturbing stuff. John Laurinaitis is also named in this lawsuit, so he's all it's like he comes off just about as scummy as Vince.
It always seemed that way anyway, even on screen. It just
TKO issued a statement saying that Mr. Mann does not control TKO, nor does he oversee the day-to-day operations of WWE. While this matter predates our TKO executive team's tenure at the company, we take Ms. Grant's horrific allegations very seriously and are addressing this matter internally. AKA, they're already preparing an exit plan to get Vince out.
Yes, and then a counter to that, Vince, in literally like 20 minutes.
Because if they don't do anything, it's going to make them look bad. It's like, I would be worried that they wouldn't do anything, but the fact that they already, like last year, made it publicly known that they consider Vince a liability is like, they knew something. Either they knew this was going to happen or something like it was going to happen, so they've made preparations. It's like,
yeah. Another thing too,
because the stock, because this is a publicly traded company, stock's going to take a hit from this stuff, and it's like that's a loss of money. And so if these allegations are true, it's just highly likely, and Vince did all the stuff that he's accused of. It's like going to be like, it's like, see ya, goodbye.
Yeah. And so a couple of things to add on to it. Number one, with TKO, who's run by Ari Emanuel, if you know Ari Emanuel, you don't mess with Ari Emanuel. Number one, okay, about that. Number two, Vince, about 25 minutes ago, at least what I've seen, they did release, Vince McMahon's lawyer released a statement saying this lawsuit is replete with lies, obscene, made-up instances that never occurred, and vindictive distortion of the truth. He would vigorously defend himself, which is what a lawyer defending person would say, saying everything's a lie, even though we literally see the text messages. So unless someone was able to really toe back and say, oh no, all these really graphic text messages were made up. And then the lady showed receipts of all the gifts that he was giving her. That was detailed. I don't know if you've looked that up.
It's like, the saying, I got the receipts. She says she's got the receipts. So
yeah, I mean, so far for what I've seen, they're receipts. Unlike the Chris Jericho allegations, it was all hearsay. Where this, we actually see like physical data.
Yeah, like Kylie Ray, nobody else came out and specifically said that Jericho did this to me. So it's like, this is a whole different bag. This is a whole different bag. This is a lawsuit that's filed in court. All the details are on the public record that anyone can view. It's out there. It's like just warning on your eyes and your mind if you want it. It's like, because the details are not pretty. I do not recommend. It's like read at your own risk.
Yeah, because I tried to read it and I couldn't get through like the
just after part. I saw what the text message said, I was like, nope, I'm not going any further.
No. But the only thing was where it was like Vince McMahon no short-term text, because that was kind of what it was. It was kind of weird. Yeah, he wrote a lot of text messages being as old as he is, because typically older people can't text. So I don't know why I said that. But anyway, and then another thing, John Laurinaitis was named in it, but there was another person that alluded to and I think it just said a big UFC star that wouldn't sign. They didn't name the person. Now, there's a lot of speculation.
That's
who knows. We think it's Brock, just because of the history that they have. I mean, literally, when Vince McMahon was basically forced out the first time, Brock left SmackDown. But it's basically saying that a UFC person big in the UFC said that they wouldn't sign unless X, Y, and Z was provided, which were sexual favors were not provided. Now, if it could be Cain Velasquez within the timeline, we don't know. I don't know exactly when this was. I don't know where in the court document it says when exactly these were done. So that's where the timeline comes in, because Cain Velasquez is the only big time UFC person you could think of.
The suit, I just looked it up. It says that the trying to have her to do sexual fuck the talent who was both the UFC WWE talent occurred in July of 2021.
Okay. I mean, I have to look up, because Cain Velasquez was a fart in the wind as far as his run with WWE, so I wouldn't know that. I mean,
I'll look up. It's like
okay, because I mean, you did have the allegation of, I mean, back in the day, as far as the history with Brock doing some weird stuff, you did have the Terry Runnels, him flashing Terry Runnels back in the day.
He was during the pandemic. It was just before the pandemic, into the pandemic in 2019, 2020.
Okay.
So this happened afterwards.
Huh. Interesting.
That's why people are thinking that it has to be Brock.
Yeah, because like I said, you had that weird incident when he first got in the WWE where he flashed Terry Runnels. Again, that was just something that came out and was said. The other thing about him allegedly basically locking Sable in a hotel room to force her to go on a date with him. Obviously, they're married now, so I don't know what that's all about. But those two things doesn't make this look good on his situation. And all I say is, if he doesn't show up in the Rumble, there's probably a reason for that.
Yeah.
So, because he was definitely going to be showing up in the Rumble.
The rumors were high that he was going to be returning soon, probably in the Rumble, and that people are expecting Brock Gunther at WrestleMania. Which, it's like you said, she doesn't say it was Brock Lesnar. It's like the person is not named, but the evidence makes it that it's Brock highly likely, just because of the date and the timeline, and the fact that it's both a WWE and UFC talent. So it's
and what stinks the most is, like, obviously there were some. Stephanie probably found this out somehow, because she forced him out. Then immediately when he came back, she left.
Yeah, she was gone.
So she probably knew something like this was going. When she found out about it,
it also says that Linda knew all about this shit. So it's very interesting that she is not publicly commented on any of this stuff at all.
Yeah.
I probably, because she doesn't want to, she, it's like her silence says a lot.
Yeah, and then also too, I mean, they kind of were saying, Triple H wasn't named in it.
Stephanie has not come out to defend her father.
No,
he hasn't said one damn word.
No, but Triple H wasn't named in it. I'm just kind of go through the higher ups right now. Triple H was named in it. Nothing with the Undertaker, who's basically like Vince is his biggest father figure that he has, and like he's shown in wherever it was with Vince. He really, obviously the Vince meme, because he couldn't talk about how much Undertaker means to him, and so I just feel, I hope that he didn't know anything, and the whole kind of
some of these people probably have no idea. It's like, I feel bad for the people that are good people who have been close to Vince over the years, because this has got to be like a gut punch. Yeah, it's like someone that they look up to and admire and who's been good to them. It's like, it turns out to be a supreme scumbag, apparently. So it's like, so we'll see how this goes. It's like not going to be surprised if Vince's they find a way to get Vince out of the company in the next couple months.
Yeah, and
because if it's looking like he's going to be found guilty, it's like they're going to be like, it's like they gotta do what they got to do to prevent serious loss of money, especially on the stock market.
Yep, but they've got to do. I mean, obviously, the good news is they forced him out a long time ago before this stuff came out, and he's basically not involved with anything. So this is kind of a quick. Yep.
Like he's in the company, but he doesn't. He's like he has no. He's not. He was not overseeing the creative control. Triple H is in charge of overseeing WWE with Nick Khan right above him.
Yeah,
it's like
speaking about old Nicky Khan, because I wish I could go into more about this, but more detail comes out, we'll go on the Discord and Ruckus Discord. We posting up as stuff as soon as we find out about that stuff, as soon as it comes out. These are it literally just got released today, so I wish we could spend more time on it. But when it comes to legal stuff, we want to not speculate and just tell you what's going on, and then basically give our opinion based off of that, but not just jump to many conclusions. Like I said, it could be Kane, it could be Brock, it could be someone else. Just that's why we don't know. So, like I said, if he appears at the Rumble, we know that they probably know that he probably wasn't that guy, or their TKO is willing to risk it. Which, if they put him in the Rumble and then it comes out later that was him, that's a whole nother can of worms that they just opened.
So it's like it's like don't want to, condemn someone before they're found guilty, but it's like just everything that's happened before, the odds of this being all true are highly likely, and if they are true, then he needs to go to hell.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, well said on that. Yeah, I couldn't say it any better. Yeah. There's evil, and then what the hell, man?
Right.